He left, and maybe he didn't even look back. And now you're sitting there, in the silence, in the ache, in the mess of a love that felt like it should have lasted longer. You're asking yourself what you did wrong, why you weren't enough, why he chose to walk away when you gave everything. But what if I told you? You didn't lose him. You released someone who never knew how to love the real you. And what if, just what if, the way to make him regret leaving is to stop chasing, stop explaining, and stop waiting? Listen to me closely. You don't need to send another message. You don't need to prove your worth. And you don't need to become someone else to earn back love that should have stayed in the first place. Because here's the truth. The most powerful shift you can make is not in how you speak to him, it's in how you show up for you. The moment you stop orbiting around him, something happens. He feels it. That silence? It's not emptiness, it's pressure. It echoes louder than your words ever did. You see, when a man walks away, he expects a reaction. He expects tears. He expects you to break. But when you don't, when you pause, breathe, and pull all that energy back into yourself, he feels something he didn't expect. Uncertainty. And that's where the power begins. Not in revenge, not in games, but in your stillness, in your choice to rise, not for him, but for you. So stay with me. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do, step by step, to heal, to glow up, and yes, if it's meant to be, to make him regret ever letting you go. But even if he never comes back, you will. Now, the first real step is this. You disappear, not to play games, not to punish him, but to protect your energy and reclaim your power. You see, silence isn't passive. It's intentional. It's a boundary. And in a world where everyone overshares, your silence will scream. Don't block him. Don't post indirects. Don't send that final paragraph explaining everything he clearly didn't care enough to ask about. Just go quiet. Go soft. Go inward. Because the woman who leaves quietly, she's unforgettable. And he will notice. At first, he might not even react. He might think you'll come back, that you'll reach out like you always do. But the longer your silence stretches, the more it begins to echo in his mind. Men aren't moved by your words. They're moved by your absence. When you stop being available, when your name stops lighting up his phone, when he can't feel your emotional pull, he starts wondering, not just where you are, but who you're becoming. That's the mystery that begins to haunt him. He may try to convince himself he's fine, that he doesn't care, that he's better off. But at night, when the noise fades, he'll remember the woman who never begged, never chased, never turned herself into a performance. He'll remember the silence. And silence is not weakness. It's your power recharging. You don't need to show him anything. You don't need him to see that you're thriving. Your energy will shift, and when it does, he will feel it, even if you never say a word. You were once his comfort zone. Now you're gone. Not angrily, not dramatically, just gone. And that absence will speak for itself. And maybe he won't come back. But if he does, let it be because your silence inspired his reflection, not because your noise demanded his attention. So for now, disappear, quietly, elegantly, without revenge, without performance, not to be missed, but to be remembered. And let's be honest, disappearing is not easy. You'll want to reach out, to remind him, to make sure he knows what he lost. That's your heart talking, but your soul knows better. Every time you resist the urge to break the silence, you grow. You strengthen that inner muscle that says, I'm okay. I don't need to beg to be seen. And that's what truly unsettles him. He expected tears, not transformation. He expected a version of you stuck in the past, not the woman rising in the present. Let him wonder. Let the silence do what your words never could. Make him realize what he walked away from. And while he's thinking, you're healing. Now that you've stepped back from him, it's time to step into you. This isn't about pretending you're okay. It's about actually becoming okay. Not because he came back, but because you did. You see, when a woman begins to pour into herself after giving so much to someone who didn't reciprocate, something magical happens. She starts to remember. She remembers the way she used to laugh, the things she loved before she tried to mold herself into someone he would stay for. She remembers that her glow was never dependent on his presence. It was always hers. So reclaim it. Go back to the gym, not so he can see your body tighter, but so you can feel your strength return. Book that trip you've been putting off. Sign up for the course. Learn something new. Pick up a hobby, dust off your creativity, get uncomfortable, not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you matter. Reclaim your mornings. Wake up with intention. Dress up, even if you have nowhere to go. Play music while you cook. Journal your way through the grief. Make your healing a daily ritual. And don't do any of it for the Instagram post. Do it for that quiet moment when you look in the mirror and say, "There you are. I've missed you." You lost something when he walked away, but it wasn't him. It was the version of you that forgot who the hell she was. This chapter isn't about proving your worth. It's about remembering it, because you cannot inspire regret in someone else if you're still drowning in your own reflection. The woman he regrets losing is the woman who no longer looks like the one he left. Let that sink in. You are not rebuilding to get him back. You are rebuilding so that even you won't recognize the woman you used to be. You don't need his validation. You need your own. And once you begin to reclaim every part of yourself he took for granted, you'll stop asking, "Will he come back?" and start asking, "Do I even want him anymore?" And that shift beautiful. That's when you know you're healing. Let this be the season where you stop shrinking to fit inside someone else's expectations. Let it be the chapter where you expand, explore, and evolve, wildly, freely, fully. Not to be wanted, but because you're finally choosing yourself. Now, let's talk about what the world sees, especially him. Because whether you like it or not, he's watching. Quietly, from a distance, through mutual friends, maybe through a fake account, maybe even directly. But here's the secret. You don't have to perform. You don't need to post a picture in a tight dress or flood your feed with quotes that scream, "I'm better without you." That doesn't create intrigue. It confirms pain. Real feminine power doesn't shout. It whispers. It moves like poetry. It glows without needing validation. So when you share your life online, do it with intention. Don't post to provoke. Post to reflect the life you're actually building. Let your smiles speak louder than your captions. Let a moment at a cafe, a walk in the sun, a laugh with your friends. Tell the story. Not the pain, but the presence. When you post from your healing, not your hurting, you become magnetic. Because what makes someone stop and look twice is not the body, it's the energy. It's the fact that you're clearly living without trying to prove anything to anyone. That's where the mystery lives. He won't be able to read you. He won't know if you're still heartbroken or fully moved on. And that confusion, that uncertainty, that's what begins to gnaw at him. He expected the meltdown. Instead, you gave him peace. And that peace, that unexpected calm, that's what makes him miss you. So stop curating your pain for an audience that's not even clapping. Start curating your life for the woman you're becoming. It's not about being loud. It's about being aligned. Let your photos breathe. Let your posts reflect your evolution, not your ego. Let the world see you rising, not for attention, but because you finally decided to stand tall again. And remember, mystery creates desire, subtlety seduces, and the woman who doesn't need to be seen is often the one no one can stop watching. Every time you choose elegance over ego, peace over provocation, you rise. You rise above the noise, above the old patterns, above the need to be seen in pain. And that rise, it's not just attractive, it's unforgettable. He won't remember every picture you posted, but he'll remember the shift in your energy. He'll feel it, that you're not faking it, you're living it, and he'll wonder how he ever let you go. Let's say he comes back. You get that text, that little hey out of nowhere. maybe an emoji, maybe a casual just checking on you. And your heart? It jumps. Your breath catches. Your mind starts spinning with 100 possibilities. But this moment, this exact moment, is where everything changes. Because how you respond now will decide everything. You see, if you react like the woman he left, desperate, eager, emotional, you confirm that nothing's changed, that he still holds the power, that he can come and go as he pleases. But if you respond like the woman you've become, calm, centered, grounded, you create a whole new energy. So don't rush. Don't reply instantly. Don't start imagining a future. Don't hand him your heart again just because he remembered you exist. Breathe, pause, observe. Is he reaching out because he genuinely sees your value, or because he's bored? Is he trying to reconnect, or just making sure you're still on the hook? Let your response reflect your growth. Maybe you answer with grace. Maybe you don't answer at all. The point is, you get to choose. You're no longer the girl waiting by the phone. You're the woman standing in her power. And that shift, that's what shocks him. He expected the old you, but now he's dealing with someone entirely new, someone he can't predict, someone he has to earn. And that's exactly how it should be. You are no longer flattered by breadcrumbs. You are no longer impressed by someone who left and suddenly remembers your name when the silence gets too loud. This is your moment to test him, not the other way around. Let his return be the beginning of a deeper evaluation, not a fairy tale reunion. You've done too much work to lose yourself all over again. Make sure that if he returns to a woman who knows exactly what she deserves and will never settle for less again. Let's talk about closure, that word we cling to when love ends without answers. You want to ask him everything. Why he left, what went wrong, if there was someone else, if you were ever enough. You want explanations that make the pain make sense. But the truth? Closure doesn't come from his words. It comes from your clarity. Because most of the time when we say we want closure, what we really want is connection. We want them to say something that soothes the ache, that rewrites the ending, that gives us back our dignity. But he can't give you that. And even if he tried, even if he offered all the right words, it still wouldn't change what happened. What brings peace isn't what he says now. It's what you decide to believe about the past. So instead of chasing closure, choose clarity. Clarity about who he was. Clarity about what you ignored. Clarity about what you deserve. Clarity about the difference between love and attachment. Because love does not leave without explanation. Love does not abandon you in silence. Love does not make you feel like you're hard to love. And once you see that clearly, you don't need a final conversation. You just need truth. Your healing won't come from getting closure from him. It will come from you closing the chapter for yourself. Let him keep the unanswered questions. You're writing new ones, better ones, in a life that's no longer stuck in rewind. So ask yourself this: do you want answers, or do you want freedom? Because sometimes the door never needs to be locked. You just need to walk through it and never look back. You don't need his permission to move on. You just need your own decision, and that's more than enough. Now take a breath, because here's the truth. No one says loud enough. You didn't break. You bent. You wept. You collapsed in the quiet. But you're still here, still standing, still rising. And that's no small thing. This isn't about whether he comes back or not. That's not the win. The real victory is you choosing you. Every single day you get up and decide not to text him, that's strength. Every time you go to bed without checking his page, that's growth. Every laugh, every step forward, every boundary you hold, that's your comeback story. You were never too much. You were never not enough. You were simply too powerful for someone who didn't know how to hold you. But now, you do. You know how to hold your own heart, how to be soft without being weak, how to love without losing yourself. And that woman, the one you're becoming, she's rare, she's radiant, she's real. He may regret leaving. He may wonder if he made a mistake. But you won't regret rising, because you're not here to chase anyone. You're not here to convince, to beg, to shrink. You're here to become. And when you become her, fully, fearlessly, your presence alone will say everything. You don't need to post it. You don't need to prove it. Just live it. The love you're looking for, it starts with you. So keep going. Keep rising. Keep choosing yourself. Until the world and love catch up to the level you've reached. You've come too far to go back now. Too far to settle for half love or half effort. The next chapter of your life isn't about who left. It's about who stayed. And most importantly, it's about you staying true to yourself. So if this reminded you of your worth, subscribe, leave a comment, and keep walking with me. This space is yours, and you're never walking alone.